Hello everyone. Today we're going to do some desktop automation with Python. And what exactly we're going to do is we have this McDonald's app which now has the Monopoly game going on. So what we want to automate is for the script to click on this scan button and then it will add the code manually. It will input some code, submit it, and then just start from the beginning again. Okay, so the way we want this to work is that we want to have a file with our codes, and in here we're going to have multiple codes which are going to be on a different line each. The way this is going to work is that we're going to have the process is going to take the first code, we'll try to input it, then it will go back here, it will delete the first code, and then we'll try to input the second one, and then so on. So in order to generate some random codes, we're going to use this website, random.org, and /strings will let you to this page where you can generate some random strings. So for now we're just gonna generate 50 of these. We know that the Monopoly event, basically each code is 12 characters long, and it has digits and also uppercase letters. So let's get those. We'll get just some of them. I'm going to insert them in here, and now we have our list of random codes. Okay, so let's continue with our Python script. Let's create it. I'm going to call it auto.py. In my environment I'm using Python3, so whenever I'm going to run the code I'm going to say Python3, or if I need to install any libraries it's going to be pip3. And for this script we're going to use, for the automation part, we're going to use PyAutoGUI. And if you don't know what it is or you don't have it installed, just go to this page and follow the installation process. Okay, so first of all what we want to do is that we want to be able to get the first code from our file. Actually, let's make a backup because later on we're going to be deleting each line. So let's say codes backup, just so we have them. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to read the first line of our codes file. So what we're going to do, we're going to say with open, we want to open the file, and then we want to read the first line. And then we also want to strip it of any new line flags. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen here. So now if we run this, we can see that it's bringing us back this code, and let's see if it matches. Yeah, 886, 886. Okay, so that's okay. So next what we want to do is we want to put this into a separate function. So we're going to say get first code, and then we're just going to cut this, put it in here, indent it. Okay, so now if we say print get first code, let's see if this is going to work. That's because we're not returning. Okay, cool. So we have the first code in here. Next, what we want to do is we want to be able to remove the first code in that text file. So for that, we're going to do another function. We're going to say delete first code. Then we're going to say with open codes txt we read it, this file, and say lines equals f 8 lines. And with that, we're going to open it, same file for writing, .txt for writing, f, and we're going to write the lines to it, so it's going to be fwrite lines. Okay, let's fix this. Cool, so we can get the first code. Then we're going to delete this code. And then we're gonna get the first code again. We don't need to print anything here. Okay, so basically what we expect to happen is that we're gonna get the first code, 886, and we're going to delete it, and then the first code is already going to be R2E and 3VG at the end. Okay, so let's see if that's gonna happen. 886, then it read the second one, R2E, and now R2E is the first code in our list. Okay, cool, that works. Okay, so now that we know how to do both these things, we basically want to have just one function that will do both these things at the same time. So let's call it get next code. And what we're going to do in here, basically the same thing, but in just one function. So let's see how this is going to work. We want this bit in here. Then when we read it, we want to get the first line. So by default, the first line for us is going to be an empty string. And at the end of all this, we want to return the first line. Cool. So what we want to happen now is basically we want to get the first line in this file, and also delete the first line again. So let's see if that's going to happen. So we're going to do get next code. See if this works. So we got the one ending in 3G, and it doesn't exist anymore, right? So now the next one is going to be v3, ending in v3. And if we're going to do this now, we got v3 in here, and it doesn't exist in here anymore. Cool. So now we can delete these other functions and have it neatly in just one function. Okay, so next what we want to do is we want to have a loop that will call this function until we run out of codes, right? So let's start with that. And for this, we're going to need a flag to tell the loop when to stop. So in the beginning is going to be true. That means that the loop should still be going. So we're going to say while continue flag is true. We're going to get the code, get next code. Then for now we want to print the code to see it, and then we say if the return code is just an empty string, then we want to say continue flag equals false, so this loop is going to stop. Now this is going to actually go through all of our codes and delete them, so let's try and do that. Okay, so we're going to go through all of these codes, and if we look in our codes in here, it's empty right now. There is one bug that I've noticed, that it actually skips one code, and probably actually multiple codes, and that's because in here what we're doing is that when we're reading the file, we're reading the first line, and then all the other lines go into this variable. And then what we do in here is into the same file we are writing all the lines except for the first one in the array that we got from here. So just to fix that, we're going to just write all the lines without that stripping. So let's try this again. In here, let's put the codes back. See what's gonna happen. So now we see that all the codes are in here, and there's nothing in this file. Let's go back, let's save it, let's clear this. Okay, so for this next part we want to start with the desktop automation. So for that we're going to import PyAutoGUI, which is a library helping us with the automation part. For now I want to comment out this bit so we don't actually try and read and delete our codes. So for now let's do something simple. So for example, PyAutoGUI, we want to move the mouse to some random coordinates. Let's see if that works. Okay, you can see the mouse moved here, so that means that everything is working for us. So we should start now with looking at the screen and scanning the screen for this button over here. Okay, cool. Actually, we're going to use this later, so let's call this move mouse away for now. Okay, so this next function is going to actually look for that button and tap on it on the screen in the emulator. So let's say handle scan button. Okay, so what we want to do in here is we want to find the coordinates for the button. PyAutoGUI, locate center on screen. Okay, and then we want to give the name of the image that it wants to match. So we're going to put the scan button PNG, and then we're going to say grayscale equals true. Okay, so what does this whole thing mean? Basically, there are multiple methods you can use here. You can say locate on screen, but we're going to use locate center on screen, which means it's going to find this exact image somewhere on the screen, and it's going to give us the coordinates of its center position. So it's going to find this image, and it's going to center the mouse right in the middle. And then we say grayscale, which means it's going to look at the pixel in at all the pixels in a grayscale, which I guess might be faster, I'm not really sure, but it seems to work for me, so that's what I'm going to use for now. One thing to notice is that whenever this library is looking for an image, it's actually looking for an exact pixel match. So if you're going to use this code, for example, on a different screen or something that is on a bigger screen where this actual icon is bigger, and you're going to use it with your these older images, it might not actually work. So it might not find it because it's matching on a exact pixel scale. So what we want to do now is we want to make a screenshot. So let's get this part like that. I'm going to get this image in here. I'm going to rename it to scan button. So this file name has to match the one that we're looking for in the code. So scan button.png. Okay, so next what we're going to do, we can actually do this. So we can print scan button, which is going to print the exact coordinates of this button on the screen. So let's see if that actually works. Oh, we're not even calling this anywhere, so let's call it here. Cool, this is one of the errors I'm getting when I'm using Python 3, and it seems to be pretty common. So just as a fix for this, I have some code already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this. So basically import PyScrees, PIL, and then you have these two lines of code which seems to actually fix this issue. So let's see if that works again. Cool, so it actually found it on the screen with these coordinates. So for now, let's see if we can actually move the mouse cursor there, move to, and we're going to say scan button. Okay, you can see that my mouse cursor jumped right onto this button. Okay, so the next thing we want this to do is we want to PyAutoGUI, we want to click scan button. Okay, this is not going to work, but you'll see why. So it goes there and it clicks, but the thing is that the first ever click in this area is actually just focusing this window. So what we want to do is we want to click it again. Okay, so now you can see it actually clicked on that button. Okay, cool. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to actually go for all the screens in here and get the images for all the buttons we actually want to click. So let's start by going here, and then we know that we want to add the code manually. We're going to get this. Going to call it button. Then we're gonna want to go in here. Okay. We want to get this. Okay, cool. As soon as we submit this, something happened. Let's try again. Okay, so click on this, click on this, submit the code. Then we're going to get this error in here. Okay, cool. Okay, next we want to be able to handle all of these button clicks. So let's close this first. We want to handle scan button. Then we want to handle the manual button, which is going to be manual button. Okay, this is going to be manual button over here. Then we want to handle, what was it, the submit button. So let's say submit button. Submit button, and then we also want to handle the scan again button. Okay, cool. So one thing to add in here, this is why we kept this this method in here, because after each click we want to actually move the cursor somewhere else so it doesn't interfere with whatever is on the screen, right? So after each click we want to actually set PyAutoGUI has this config option here, which says after every method that you call on the PyAutoGUI class, it should pause for this number of seconds. You can basically say 0.1 seconds. For me, it seems to work for 1 second because the simulator is pretty slow. So we can actually try and do this now. So handle scan, handle manual, handle submit. Actually, just these two will work because we're not handling the input of the code for now. So if we just say just like this, let's see what's going to happen. Clicked on that, and then clicked on add manually. Okay, so that bit works, which is cool. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to actually input the code in here. So for that, we're going to create another method. We're going to say handle code input, and we want to receive the code in here. The way we're going to do this is we're going to say PyAutoGUI, and it has this method called typewrite. We're going to input the code, and we can actually give it an interval between key inputs. So it's going to be 0.1 seconds. Basically, it's going to type one letter, then wait 0.1 seconds, and then type another, and so on. Cool. So we're going to do that. So let's see if this actually works. Let's say our code is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's comment this for now. See if this works. Oh, it's because it's not focused in this part, but let's see if we can focus it really fast. So, yep, cool. So that worked. Let's close this for now. Cool. Next, let's actually implement this into our loop. So we want to comment our loop now. So let's see, we're going to handle our scan button. So if there is no code, then we don't continue, else we want to continue with our process. So we're going to handle the scan button. Then we're going to do the manual button. Okay, and then we have this, which the spell check is bugging me. I'm gonna say handle. Okay, so we clicked on the scan button, then we clicked on add code manually, then we want to input the code, and in here we're actually going to use the code from the file. Okay, then we are going to handle this. Okay, and then we are going to handle the scan again. So if I'm going to run this right now, it's actually going to go through the whole loop again and again. There, I don't think it's going to stop only when there's going to be no codes left. There's one fail-safe thing that PyAutoGUI comes with. So for example, if at any point you want to stop the script running, you just move your mouse into the corner of the screen, somewhere around here, and keep it there for maybe a second, and I think it will stop the process at that point. So let's see if we go from the start, clear this, see what's going to happen. Okay, put the code, submit. Cool. So I think it didn't find the scan again, because it just keeps throwing my mouse. Oh, it found it. Okay, something went wrong in there, but seems to be working a bit. So let's see again. Yeah, no. So we're gonna move the mouse in here. Okay, and now it stopped the process. Cool. So let's see what happened. Basically, I think what happened is that after the submit button was clicked, I actually have to wait multiple seconds before it disappears, because the emulator is pretty slow, and also the response from the server, I guess, takes some time. So what we're going to do in this case is that we're going to use the time function after we submit. So we're going to say we're going to wait for 3 seconds after we click the submit button. So in order to use this time, we're going to have to import it. So we say import time. Okay. Cool. So let's see what's going to happen now. Actually, it's not going to work. We need to start from the beginning. Cool. Okay, so this worked. Going through the next code. Okay, something did not work. Okay, I think I know what might be the issue. Is that because after it goes through the whole process, so it goes, when it clicks on scan again, it doesn't actually show the scan button again, but that's what we're doing in our loop. So we're trying to find the scan button, but it actually can only find the manual button. So what we're going to do in here is that we're going to add some something like this. So if the scan button exists, and if it's okay, so if scan button is not equal to none, then we actually want to click on it, because if it's none, then it couldn't find it, so it wouldn't click on it. Okay, I think we should be doing that for all of these. So I'm gonna do that. Just let's change the buttons. See if this works this time. Okay, add code. Click on submit. Waiting for the scan again, should find it and click on it. Then we're going back to add go manually, so here it should not find the scan button, and just go to next one. Okay, that seems to work. Okay, cool. So this works now. One thing I'm thinking is that we also want this to actually stop. Like if this scan again button does not appear, it means that you might have actually found a winning code. So in that case, I'm not actually sure what's going to appear on the screen, but what I'm thinking is that we want our code to, our process to stop. So what we're gonna do in here, so if we found the button and we want to have this, but if we did not find the button, let's return false. So in here, return true, handle scan button. Actually, you know what? Let's say continue flag equals to the return from this. So let's see again. So continue flag. Okay, it's going to find the button. Oh, this is not right. Okay, let's delete these from here. Okay, final button. If there is one, then okay. There is one. Do this. Okay, scan again. So if there is a scan again button, we're going to click on it, move away, and return true, which means that we had an incorrect code, right? So the continue flag is going to be true and is going to go for the loop again. And if we couldn't find the scan again button, it will return false. And continue flag is going to be false, which is going to stop the loop. So let's just run this once again. That's not a good code. That seems to be like a different type of error, which I haven't seen before. Let's just put it in here. Maybe we can handle it later. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen when we click on this OK button. Okay, it's taking us back to the add code manually bit. Okay, let me just change this value here so it goes a little bit faster. Cool, so maybe let's actually handle this OK button. So let's say def handle OK button. We took a screenshot of it, so we should have it now. So let's see. OK button. And we're going to call it OK button. So if we found this button, then we can actually click on it. Okay. So if we click on it, then we're going to actually wait. So let's handle it in here after the sleep. Cool. So I think we need to handle it this way. So click OK. We want to know if we clicked OK. So if we clicked on it, we want to return true. Otherwise, we want to return false. Okay, so we clicked on the button. So clicked OK is now true. Okay, so what do we want to do in this case? We want to say if we clicked on OK Actually, if we didn't click on OK, then we want to click on handle scan again. And my guess is that this is always, most of the time, is going to be true. We did not click on OK, so we want to click on handle scan again, because I think that code was something weird. Cool. So let's see if this works this time. Okay, click on the scan, add a code, submit. Then we're getting a scan again. See if it can find it. Okay, cool. See if it finds this. Okay. Cool. This one seems to work. Okay, let's stop this for now. Okay, I actually do have an actual code which should work, so I'm going to try and add that now to our list of codes. Okay, so I did get a meal from McDonald's some time ago, and I do have two codes here, so let's add them in the beginning. So C9M6 ET7 7, that's one, and this one is free, and J838 LNVR. Okay, that seems about right. Let's see if these two codes actually work, and we do expect everything to stop because it shouldn't find the handle scan again, the scan again button. So let's close this. Cool, let's try again. Oh, nice. So we see that the script actually stopped, and we did get our card in here. So let's see if we can actually open it. Okay, nice. I'm not sure if I have that one, so I'm gonna leave it for now, but let's see if the next code is going to work. So yep, that seems to be the next code. Let's see if that actually works. So cool, that seems to have worked, and the script stopped. So we are good to go now. Cool. Hope you guys have fun with this. Take care.